Yes, 100%. Okay, can you hear me? Hmm. Can you see my screen? Okay, yeah, thank you everyone for being here today and sharing this moment with me. I appreciate it and I feel honored. My name is Davison Bar and I'm excited to share my research finding on the topic effects of inclusive leadership on employee job performance in the context of Bangkok private educational system under the guidance of my research supervisor, Dr. Sajid Chakraborty. Yeah, before I do that, I really want to acknowledge some special people who more so than anyone supported and helped me to get to this point. My family, my wife, Rose, my daughter, Francine, and God bless gift, and the amazing dissertation committee, Dr. Neil, my supervisor, um, Dr. Gaji, Sunak, and Sankalita. I want to thank you all for making it present today. So, I have dwelled into the realm of inclusive leadership and its impact. So, I want us to journey through the key chapter of my research. So, before I do that, I will present a clear roadmap of what we are going to cover today. So, we have the introduction, the background of the study, and theoretical background of the study, research design, and data analysis, summary of data analysis, that's chapter 4, chapter 5, conclusion and implication, chapter 6, round-up and closing. Okay. Yeah. So to introduce this topic sought to help understand the relationship between inclusive leadership and teachers' job performance and well-being. The study also sought to bring out the mediating effect of teacher well-being between inclusive leadership and teachers' job performance. So my research investigates the impact of inclusive leadership on teachers' job performance in Bangkok private educational system. So with this, I aim to answer two crucial questions. The first is, how does inclusive leadership influence teachers' job performance? And the second, does teacher well-being mediate the relationship between inclusive leadership and job performance? So with this, I came up with a hypothesis that suggests that inclusive leadership positively affects job performance and teacher well-being plays a mediating role. So, moving into chapter 1 of my research, my findings. So, understanding the link between inclusive leadership and teachers' job performance is very important for educational institutions, teachers, and even policy makers. So you see, it offers the potential to enhance educational practices, teacher well-being, and ultimately student outcomes. So the findings, we have implications for educational institutions, teachers, and the research fields, and society at large, fostering a supportive and productive educational environment. We can see, one, leaders can benefit from understanding the importance of inclusive leadership in shaping a positive work culture and improving teachers' well-being and job performance. Implications for educational institutions, we see the educational institutions can strengthen their core competitiveness by adopting an inclusive leadership skills and optimizing the advantages of their teachers. For teachers will gain insight into how inclusive leadership impacts their job performance and well-being, contributing to their overall quality of life. Then policymakers can use the research finding to inform future policy and initiatives for ties schools. So we go to the background of my study, the context. We are going to look at the context. So the research exploits the impact of inclusive leadership on employee job performance in Bangkok private educational system, focusing on nurturing the future. So we know our education for students in the private sector is also important, as we are educators, we are training students. So there's a lot of research about inclusive leadership and teachers' performance. But here we are going to see that little have been done concerning private schools in Bangkok. So my research explored the impact of inclusive leadership on employee job performance in Bangkok private educational system, focusing on nurturing the future. So there's a noted research gap in this area, as the effect of inclusive leadership are well recognized globally, but not extensively studied in this specific context, the context of private educational system in Bangkok. So the study aimed to bridge this gap, exploring how inclusive leadership impact educator performance and well-being. Okay. So now we move to the theory that guided my research. Overview of theoretical framework. So my study is grounded in the inclusive leadership theory, suggesting that an inclusive environment boosts employee motivation, satisfaction, and performance. The core components that form the core of inclusive leadership include diversity recognition. Diversity recognition that value diverse perspective and background. It laid foundation for a harmonious and collaborative work environment. Next is supportive communication. Supportive communication promotes trust and understanding through an open, empathetic communication. Empowerment encourage autonomy and engagement. Collaboration here fosters teamwork and innovative solution. The inclusive leadership theory aligns with the educational context, enhancing both performance and well-being. So if you look at the theoretical fit and guiding theory, we have the social exchange theory and the full range theory that guided the research, offering insight into the interaction between individuals and organization and diverse leadership behavior, respectively. These theories are integrated to explore the complex relationship between inclusive leadership, teacher performance, and well-being. With respect to this, we have other theories that were also considered. We have the goal theory, the target theory, and the flexible management theory that were also considered during my research. The goal theory links responsibility with psychological goal, enhancing performance. The target theory aligns goals with individual values, boosting well-being. The flexible management theory supports diversity while ensuring organization unity. The key concept focuses on two-way communication in inclusive leadership, overall job performance experience, satisfaction for employee well-being, task performance, and enhances organization productivity. So to summarize these slides, the study dwelled into the unexplored territory of the effect of inclusive leadership within Bangkok private educational sector, grounded in several theories, including inclusive leadership. The research investigates the complex dynamic of leadership, employee well-being, and performance. The goal is to unveil insights that can enrich both educational practices and theoretical understanding in this context. Go to chapter 3, research design. My research design. A quantitative approach was chosen. I chose a quantitative approach due to the large population size of Bangkok. This enabled me to efficiently analyze the effect of inclusive leadership on well-being and job performance. The sampling process involved a convenient composite sampling method, selecting participants based on availability and criteria aligned with the research objective. My sample comprises 551 teachers from 8 private educational institutions. Data collection and analysis. Data was collected from teachers in 8 private schools in Bangkok using online questionnaires on SurveyMonkey from October 2022 to January 2023. Here I employed a 5-point scale focusing on leadership, well-being, and performance. The questionnaire comprises 4 sections. The first one had 9 questions where participants rated the argument from 1 to 5. The questionnaire was tested for reliability, and an alpha value over 0.5 was gotten, which indicates that the results are consistent and trustworthy. Data analysis was conducted using SPSS, Statistics Package for Social Science, to examine data pattern and relationship. So SPSS was the main tool I used for data crunching. I started by doing descriptive statistics to look at the mean, standard deviation, the frequency, the mode, the median, to understand basic trend. After that, I moved to do correlation analysis. So here, I saw that there was a notable relationship between inclusive leadership and well-being with a coefficient of 0.53. Similarly, for inclusive leadership and job performance, the coefficient was 0.366. Regression analysis was also done. Well-being showed a better value of 0.438, which indicates a significant positive effect. Job performance also showed a significant positive effect with a better value of 0.319. An interesting observation was about mediation, where well-being acts as a mediator between inclusive leadership and job performance. This mediation has an indirect effect with a p-value of 0.21, and it's highly significant with a p-value of less than 0.001. My analysis provides the following insight. There's a strong positive influence of inclusive leadership on both well-being and job performance. My hypothesis was tested. So you can see, starting with hypothesis 1, it proposed that inclusive leadership has a positive effect on employee well-being. The estimate stands at 0.601, which represents the strength of the relationship with a significant mark by a critical ratio of 7.15. Result, I found this hypothesis to be accepted. If you look at hypothesis number 2, inclusive leadership positively influences employee job performance. The estimate is 0.703, and again it's significant with a critical ratio of 8.57. Result, this hypothesis is also accepted. In hypothesis 3, I examined if there's a positive correlation between employee well-being and their job performance. The estimate came out to be 0.558 with a significant critical ratio of 7.64. Again, the result was accepted. Lastly, our hypothesis 4. Here, it was very interesting because it proposed that employee well-being mediate the relationship between inclusive leadership and their job performance with an estimate of 0.705 and a significant critical ratio of 8.59. I found this hypothesis to be accepted as well. To summarize, all 4 hypotheses were accepted, emphasizing the strong influence of inclusive leadership on both well-being and job performance. Okay, you look here at the research finding, the result. Hypothesis 1, inclusive leadership and employee well-being. My data strongly indicate that inclusive leadership practices have a pronounced positive impact on employee well-being with a critical ratio of 7.15 and a significant level of p-value less than 0.05. This hypothesis is statistically significant. Hypothesis number 2, inclusive leadership and job performance. Dwelling on the relationship between leadership skill and job performance, the data reveal a clear correlation. Inclusive leadership has been found to enhance job performance with a critical ratio of 8.57 and a p-value less than 0.05. Hypothesis 3, well-being and job performance. Here we see there exists a positive link between employee well-being and job performance. This relationship supported by a critical ratio of 7.64 with a p-value less than 0.05. Emphasizing the importance of employee well-being in the workplace. Looking at hypothesis 4, well-being as a mediator, one of the more complex findings of my study is the mediating role of well-being. It acts as a bridge between leadership skill and job performance with a notable critical ratio of 8.60, p-value less than 0.05. Conclusion. The weight of the evidence from my analysis is clear. All the new hypotheses associated with this primary hypothesis has been rejected. This lends significant credence to hypothesis 1, 2, 4, and they stand accepted based on the data. In summary, the data highlight the manufactured interplay between inclusive leadership, employee well-being, and job performance. The acceptance of this hypothesis provides a robust foundation for both theoretical discussion and practical implication in organization setting. Data presentation. Excuse. Okay, this slide presents the result of the data analysis and how they relate to the research objectives and questions. The data was first summarized using descriptive statistics such as mean, standard deviation, and range to understand the basic feature and distribution. Graphs and tables were used to visually display the data pattern, trends, and relationship. making it easier to grasp the finding quickly and clearly. The results were then discussed in the context of the research theoretical framework, objectives and questions. The data implications, significance and potential impact were thoroughly explored and communicated. So here I analyzed the respondent acceptance of inclusive leadership. So a picture was used to show the result of the different respondents about their intake of inclusive leadership. So it was involving 543 participants, and the response was analyzed using SPSS software. Impressively, 32.61% of the participants strongly agree with inclusive leadership, indicating that a significant portion recognize its value and importance. More encouraging, when considering those who agree, as well, over 60% are in favor of inclusive leadership, underlining its broad acceptance. But there's a potential for even wider acceptance. I believe there's a golden opportunity to further champion and educate about the benefits of inclusive leadership, reaching those yet to be convinced. In summary, my findings both celebrate the existing positive reception of inclusive leadership and emphasize the untapped potential it presents. Analyzing teacher job performance. Here, a picture was also used to present the view on how inclusive leadership impacts teacher job performance. Here we can see why a majority acknowledge its benefits. Interestingly, 12.05 saw a direct positive effect on student achievement. However, it's crucial to note that 10.85 did not see any positive impact, and 6.38% felt it made no difference. Analyzing impact on teachers' well-being. Here we see that 61.9% of teachers noticed a positive correlation between inclusive leadership and their own well-being. On the flip side, only 2.7% strongly disagree with the sentiment. And notably, 26.24% found the assertion accurately. Importantly, the data revealed that teachers who are happy in their roles bring a higher degree of effectiveness to the classroom. Looking at well-being and productivity, it's worth emphasizing that the same 61.9% of teachers who acknowledge the positive impact on well-being also link it to increased productivity in their role. To conclude, my quantitative analysis using FPSC unveils some critical takeaway. Inclusive leadership has a noticeable positive effect on both well-being and job performance. Moreover, teachers' well-being serves as a partial bridge connecting inclusive leadership and enhanced job performance. These insights not only deepen our grasp on educational leadership dynamics, but also suggest ways to elevate teacher well-being and performance. Now, comparing my finding with other literature, the study, while aligning with existing literature on positive effect of inclusive leadership, uniquely emphasizes well-being as a mediator between leadership and job performance. This is where my study differ from other studies. Here I introduce the mediating factor of well-being between leadership and job performance. Here we move to limitation of my study. There were several limitations. So one was on scope. My study was limited on the scope, data collection, content. So let's look at my limitation regarding the scope. My study was confined to a very specific population, focusing on 8 private schools in Bangkok. While this gave me an in-depth view of the context within the institution, it does affect the broad applicability of the findings. So when considering the result, it's vital to remember this limited scope. Data collection. My primary approach was quantitative. While this methodology has its strength and weakness, especially in terms of consistency and numerical analysis, it might miss out on the nuanced insight that come from personal stories or deeper qualitative exploration. Furthermore, my primary tool of data collection was questionnaires. While they offer a systematic method of gathering information, there's always a concern about objectivity. Respondents might not always interpret questions as intended or might. As intended, they might not interpret the question as intended, or they might provide answers they believe are expected rather than their true feelings. In context, it is important to emphasize that my research was predominantly rooted in Thai private school leadership. Thus, the cultural, administrative, and other contextual factors of this specific institution play a significant role in the finding. Extrapolating this conclusion to different contexts requires caution. Recommendation. Given this limitation, I see an opportunity and a necessity for future research. There is potential to enhance data quality, possibly by refining questionnaires or integrating more quantitative measures. Diversified collection method, tapping into interviews, focus group or case study to gather richer insights and counterbalance the limitation of a purely quantitative approach. In conclusion, while my study provides valuable insight into leadership within the context of Thai private schools and the impact on teachers, is essential to view this result considering the limitation. I hope my work lay a foundation for more comprehensive and diverse research in the future. Research summary. Looking at my summary, the study focused on the Thai private school context, underscored the pivotal role of inclusive leadership in enhancing teachers' performance and well-being. It aimed to contribute the broader understanding and implementation of effective leadership in practices in education. The research highlights the tangible benefit of inclusive leadership in education, emphasizing a call to action for its widespread adoption. I express my gratitude for the guidance and feedback from the committee and a commitment to advance this field of study is reaffirmed. Summary of the slides. The research conducted via online questionnaire revealed a strong positive influence of inclusive leadership on teacher well-being and performance in Bangkok private schools. Analysis using SPSS supported all my hypotheses, emphasizing the role of well-being as a mediator. The study insights, though significant, are informed by contextual limitation and specificity of the choosing schools. The finding underline the need for broader adoption and understanding of inclusive leadership, aiming to foster an enhanced learning environment and educational system. I express my gratitude for the support received and commit to further contribute in this field of education. Thank you for listening. I think I've come to the end of the presentation. Yeah, thank you for that question. For sure, I've got a lot of experience with regard to inclusivity in the teaching field. As a teacher in a particular school, here I would the case study of my school here, Sarasas. I have been teaching here for almost 13 years in this school. In a certain year, I discovered that almost 20 teachers left, 20 teachers left in the space of 2 weeks, and 3 directors were changed, replaced in the space of 3 months. So I came to wonder, I came to wonder what could be the reason that teachers were leaving and there were change of directors. So I came to discover that the teachers, they were not happy with the management. The management did not include them in the decision. They were not happy. They were not motivated, and so they have to take the decision by leaving, because if you're not happy, you're not motivated, and you're not include into the management. Into the management, they always give you here in Sarasa, they always tell you what to do. They don't give you space to ask questions or to even ask for guidance or something. When they say do this, you have to do this. So I discovered that when teachers are not happy, they are not motivated, their well-being is also affected. So they have to look for a different means. So in my own particular case in Sarasas, many teachers left, and as they were leaving too, they have to form stories about the directors. So they have to change directors. Director will come to change because none of them have that training of that inclusive skills, leadership skills. So it has to affect the school until the head center have to send a board, a representative from the center to come and administer the school for a period of time, and they look for someone that have an inclusive leadership skill to administer the school. So the school now is in perfect condition. Thank you. Yeah, personal aspect like what? Yeah, for sure. Because those the social factor will affect their well-being. So the school should also consider the social factors for the teachers. Because if the teachers they have problem with maybe at home or with their family, with other sector, yeah, it will affect their performance. It will affect their performance in the classroom. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, the patient. Thank you. Okay, thank you for that question. I think all of those is just spiritual material. Is just about the happiness of the teachers. Spiritually, the teachers they have their belief of happiness, and the reason that they are working is to make their well-being, to uplift their well-being, to increase their happiness level, and to make their family to do what they want to do. So if their materials and their spiritual level is increased, their well-being will also increase, their performance will increase, their motivation, everything will increase about their performance. So that's how I look into that aspect. Thank you for that question. It's a little bit complicated, but yeah, with regards to Thai culture, yeah, with inclusive leadership, what I discovered is that when Thai as a leader, the subordinates don't have right to ask questions. They don't have right to ask questions. They are afraid to ask. They are afraid to interact. They may have very motivated or interesting ideas, but due to their culture that the hierarchy, they have to maintain the hierarchy. They are afraid to share their ideas directly. So they always want to look for a group of people, like individual cannot have an idea and go directly to present to the director. The director now will look the individual as trying to oppose his authority. And I came to discover that it's Thai culture. Thai culture, they don't ask. They don't ask directly. You respect your boss. Even he's saying what is right or wrong, you have to keep quiet. Even if something that is impacting your well-being, you go home and either you resign, as most I've seen most of teachers, if they are not happy with what the system is, they cannot suggest, they cannot question. So what do? They just have to resign and look for a different school. So Thai culture here in Thailand is a problem. Even us in school here, we have a problem as a foreigner. So because of the Thai culture, there's a great problem in inclusivity, because inclusivity is what, a relationship with your boss. You do things together, for the interest of the school. But here it's lacking. One, because of the Thai culture. So I think I've given you although not perfect, an explanation of how it looked like in Thailand, and specifically in my own institution that I've been working in. You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. No, I don't have any question. I just want to thank you for your time and for the question. I hope we improve on. I throw in my committee to further my research on inclusive leadership. Yeah, on inclusive leadership. Thank you. 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 Sure. Yeah, after Bangkok, I'm moving to Germany. I'm studying there. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yay! I'm ready. I'm ready. God is good all the time. My God, I was afraid. I made it! It's Harley Popsky, the whiskey, the eyes, baby boy. Yeah, I made it. Doctor Davidson, yeah.